Good evening. It is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole. What separates our show from other millennial news podcasts?
Beautiful pictures.
That too.
We have a boomer, and not just any boomer. We have Mr. Boomer Rex himself.
A talkative boomer.
You two eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and I'm learning that's three unique perspectives we share, along with the facts from our literal round table. Today is Flag Day.
Yay. Happy Flag Day,
Yeah, a
everybody.
lot of bad shit's happened today. A friend of ours, parrot, got slammed in a door and sadly died, which is unfortunate. And then we lost
An avian friend.
Yeah, the parrot is an avian. Our friend also a completely separate friend, lost their horse, Buddy, and he was a wonderful horse.
Yep.
He lived a gajillion years, and yeah, you'll hear stories about him for sure.
And had a great life. He really had a great
He
life.
had a wonderful
We should
life.
all be as lucky to go the way he did.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's dig right into our headlines. Take it away, Boomer.
One of the things I'll say about our boomer is you don't take it as the statement that there are things wrong with America is an attack on your legacy or you as a
Well,
It's
I
the-
mean, they probably should be considered that way. I mean, a lot of this shit happened on my watch, and yeah, I feel a little guilty about it. But no, I don't take it as
You
a...
trusted the other kids to cover their corner.
I'm the one who's standing here saying America is, for all intents and purposes, a failed state.
Yep.
And we better fucking fix it. Because it is nothing like the America I love.
Yeah. No, it is freakishly
And
far from
surged.
the America I grew up in, which
Yeah.
was full of Gordon Gekko lunacy and the ends of disco. Like,
Yes. Does anybody mourn the end of disco?
well, there's music you dance to, I guess.
Yeah, I
I'm told.
suppose.
I don't know. I don't dance.
No. Oh, you should learn.
Well,
It's not hard. You just move.
oh yeah. No, I've had
Wiggle your
gajillion
body
training.
to the music.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't get any of the enjoyment the dancing kids do.
Ah, okay. All right. So anyway, I'm reading along today, and I have to admit my reaction was, I'm descended from a what?
Well, yeah, probably.
So 100 years ago, scientists discovered this weird fossil. It was like a toothless eel-like thing that had a cartilaginous skeleton. And so for 130 years, it's been a mystery.
Is it not cartilaginous?
Cartilaginous.
Yeah, but I wanted to be
Okay.
gelatinous.
So, yeah, well, I suppose it was kind of gelatinous.
Kind of gelatinous?
Anyway, so it's a paleospondylus guni. It turns out there's a reasonable chance it is the ancestor of all quadrupedal life on Earth.
Yeah. That's
So-
what you get for wishing for better.
So I'm descended from a toothless eel.
Yeah.
Okay, I
That's
suppose.
what you get. Dum dum.
So I'm evolving toward it in one respect. And
Wait, we only recently figured out where eels come from.
Do we know where eels come from? I thought we
So
still
basically
thought
that.
they were magical.
oh God.
They come from the Sargasso Sea.
Okay.
Or one of the, but the eels swim out there and then are food for the next round, which is
Right.
why we don't find eel carcasses or any of the other ways. we
Right,
normally
because they all
go.
got ate by their
Yeah.
offspring, like salmon.
Like a warmier version of salmon.
Yeah. So, anyway. So the next up would be kind of an exciting discovery from Hubble, which is that there may be a rogue black hole about 5,000 light years away, which is forever away in miles and like next door in galactic terms. So anyway,
How big?
Two
how far away
groups.
is it in terms of how far can I throw an anchor?
Not nearly that far.
Fine.
So,
It's far enough away. We can't get any of the bad human juju on it.
anyway, two groups sort of independently discovered this massive object. And one of the groups, they have a mass estimate which would let it be a neutron star, right? Almost a black hole, right? And then the other one, all of their mass results are black holes. So maybe it's a rogue black hole. But that would be kind of interesting, as a black hole wandering around away from its little cocoon of dust and ripped up planets and, you know, neighboring stars that it's gradually eating, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Come on, cosmic rays, cook half the humans.
So anyway, let's see what's
Not
next.
even care which half.
So recently I had a couple of friends discussing the fact that they could make money doing foot fetish stuff on TikTok.
Oh, fair.
Well, it turns out that the videos about photo selling website Feet Finder that popped up on TikTok, they all went viral, and how much money people were making and so forth and so on.
Ads.
They were ads.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Oh, yeah. No, we are going to mainstream a bunch of gross parts of the internet on accident.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I just, you know, if you have cute feet, put them on Feet Finder. Anyway, it was a paid ad. No,
Yeah.
people are not making thousands of dollars.
Garbage.
Well, some people are, possibly. Anyway. So let's see what else is going on. A Texas judge blocks Greg Abbott's order to investigate families of transgendered kids for child abuse. A Texas court has, and I note it's temporarily, stopped the state's Department of Family and Protective Services from investigating the families of transgendered children who are receiving gender-affirming health care. This is a specific group of families, right? But what the organization is saying is that it's PFLAG. What does it stand for? Yeah. Anyway, what they're telling Texas parents is that if they are approached by Department of Family and Protective Services, that they should say that they are members of PFLAG. And
fuck you, Texas!
Yep. So anyway, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Hey, it's always going to be
it's
temporary,
standard
though.
Texas stuff.
Yeah, Texas is the one who fucked around and got their sodomy laws struck down. So,
If you have a major business in Texas, you should leave.
yeah.
Or
Looking at
get
you,
what you
NASA.
deserve. Because if it's possible to avoid doing business with you, I will.
And I'll bet you it's cheaper to move than take down all the stuff that was built for the rocket Nazis. And it's
Yeah.
probably full of fucking asbestos.
Yep. So anyway, under the heading of About Damn Time, investigators that are probing efforts to meddle with the 2020 election in Georgia have sought testimony from former publicist R. Kelly and Kanye West, who allegedly pressured a local election worker. And so what they did was they sent one of their people, Cootie, Trevian Cootie, this is a publicist, right? Came to the election worker and said, you know, I'm here to help you. I'm a crisis manager and I'm here to help you, and so forth and so on and so on. And fortunately, the election worker, Ruby Freeman, was smart enough to call the cops. And so the rest of their conversation took place with body cams on. And so what they told her was, according to the police report, Cootie said the danger Freeman faced was related to the election. And I can't say specifically what will take place, right? But I just know that it will disrupt your freedom. You know, you're a loose end for a party that needs to tidy up, and so forth. It was complete nonsense all the way across the board. But there's now a grand jury poking around. So we might actually get some charges on some folks. Would certainly be a good thing to have happen.
I'm glad that you were so forward thinking.
Well, I'm hopeful, right?
Yep.
So, dumbass du jour, I'm not going to name the fool.
Why?
For obvious reasons that you look it up. No, you don't. So this fool explains that the shortage of tampons is due because trans men are using tampons, right? And it's not a recent phenomenon. It's the cause of the supply chain issues.
Tell me they're butt chugging something.
They put tampons in men's bathrooms. Yeah, they have in a handful of places, but it's for the other team, right? Is for those who are transitioning to male. Anyway, so the fool went on to say, has anybody checked the warehouses at the border where all the baby formula is stocked floor to ceiling? Which again is another lie. No such thing is true.
Yep.
Or maybe some men's restrooms. I mean, apparently they're available there. And so I just, this is the idiot, right? The moron, right?
Yeah.
Right? Talking to the gullibillies.
I would love to see, I don't think anyone has good enough numbers to tell you real accurately. Have the money kids withdrawn the PR people that normally kept them off these rocks?
I think they stopped listening to them. I think they got so crazy that anybody who said, no, you get, guys,
the Protestants doubled down on not needing experts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not doubled down at this point.
I mean, you're talking about people who are obviously uneducated, obviously stupid, obviously just...
Two of those are fine. Those are like things that can be true about you. It's the fucking ignorant and proud that...
Oh, yeah, and violent.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want to run America, go vote Re-Thug, because that's who they are. And there's no such thing as a good Republican.
Nothing stands for this.
Not that votes for this shit.
And understands that this is going to be what carries the day. It's not going to be... I have no idea. I'm trying to think of what the last handful of things I heard Republicans saying.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. We should definitely be concerned about whether or not the world's gonna freak out and decide to do something dumb about our standing as whatever. But Russia has settled a lot of those troubled waters. So
yeah.
No, at some level, I think this is the inevitable outcome of running two generations of anti-government candidates. Right, or at least...
Well, and they ran anti-government candidates for a very simple reason. They wanted to, quote, make the government small enough to drown in a bathtub. Right. The whole reason they wanted to make the government small was to save money so they could give tax breaks to the rich, who were bribing them to do just that and continue to this day.
Yep.
Virtually all Republicans and too goddamn many fucking Democrats.
No, but they've pared it down enough to... They're attacking the systems that we have used to make a lot of the privatized success stories.
Mm-hmm. Nope. When people find it easier to go out and rob than work, that's what's going to happen. And no number of guns is going to help with that. In fact,
our history
if you own a gun,
that's why
you're just on my list of good sources of supply. So
right.
Anyway,
or get what the kittens could.
Yeah.
When in Rome and all that.
No, if I were 20 years younger, I would be thinking about moving. So, anyway. Oh God, the next up just drives me crazy.
No.
So the UN has launched a crowdfunding effort.
Probably none of the words.
To raise an additional $5 million in 2 weeks.
Oh. God.
For an operation to remove 1 million barrels of crude oil from a decaying supertanker off Yemen's Red Sea coast. The FSO Safer.
What's the fucking oil
has
worth?
had what?
What's the oil worth?
Not that much. I'm sure it's worth the $5 million. But there's been no maintenance for since the start of Yemen's civil war, which is, I think, 7 years ago. That oil, I don't know whether that oil's usable or not. Depends on the condition the ship is in. But I'm sure some second son of a second son who works for the UN will arrange to sell it. So, anyway, and make himself
I'm
very
more
rich.
surprised they haven't so far. There's.
So anyway, there's a funding shortage, and the work to empty the tanker has been delayed. And UN member states have only pledged about 60 million of the 80 million needed for the initial operation.
Sure, good luck.
Sorry about that shit, Charlie, because when it does break up, and it does dump its oil, it's going to cost
Oh, fucking matter.
it's going to cause about $20 billion worth of damage on that coast. So go right ahead. Right? Be as foolish as you fucking want. Let's see. What do we got next?
Hey, I can't help but feel bad for the Yemenis people who definitely aren't in charge of any of this.
Yeah, I know.
Saudi Arabia's got a hate on for them for reasons.
Yep, and it's off their coast and it's going to hurt them.
Yeah.
Which is, maybe a reason to contribute to the crowdfunding.
Hey, Yemenis, if any of you know how to make a ship go, you can just make it go.
So more and more people are saying that Bill Stepien was not the voice of reason, speaking in Trump's ear. Right? They phrase this as Team Normal versus the diluted, the Kraken team, right? More and more people are saying nothing could be further from the truth. The folks who were talking about being part of Team Normal, in fact, helped push all of the Kraken stuff. But they wanted to put some distance between themselves and the Kraken team because they wanted to maintain their reputation.
They're more than happy to fuel up the car and like crazy Thelma and Louise off whatever cliff they wanted to.
Yeah.
But they were going to stay at the last gas station.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what the committee hearings disclose. Because, again, these, they're all scum. Right? The whole Trump team.
On the other hand, Democrats fucking fumbling the ball on me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Can't decide whether or not they are or aren't going to refer charges or whether or not that's a possibility. And
oh, yeah.
Okay, if you made agreements based on that, don't say anything. It all really boils down to, why did you have to fucking talk?
Yeah. Why would you open your mouth?
And not say something like, man, I tell you what, you guys cannot wait to see what's coming up.
Yeah.
I'd love to tell you.
No, I can't.
Nah.
Oh, shit. Hey, got a great new thing. Just a fabulous new thing. So at one time, the FBI collected data on crime in America. And they had a pretty good system. There were known problems with it. And in some cases, the definitions of various crimes had been manipulated.
Yeah.
And they certainly weren't keeping accurate track of the race of the people they arrested. It was a halfway decent system.
Yeah.
So, as of today, 7,000 of the nation's 18,000 law enforcement agencies have not sent their crime data in for 2021. And the reason they haven't is because the FBI changed their system. And although they were briefing people on it for years, and obviously a number of police organizations have filed.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing number of kids who didn't get the message and got lost.
Yeah. So anyway, that data gap virtually makes the FBI's data useless. You can certainly see that some people would approve of that, because understanding that, for instance, young black men are 22 times as likely to be shot by police as young white men is a statistic that, you might want to suppress if you were in certain political parties. Yep. So, anyway, but at this point, that's kind of half aren't cooperating, so we've just lost.
I can see both sides capitalizing on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it shows a drop.
Yeah. And that's like people talking about the tremendous rise in crime.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there hasn't been one.
You lived through the
total
90s.
bullshit.
If you were alive in the 90s and out in the world on your own power and stuff, you've actually lived in a scary place.
Where violence was actually common.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to health threats.
And part of that has to do with like smartphones. Like that's one of the I'm often going to be saying smartphones are the problem. And if I had a time machine, a weird list of things, and then I'd kill the guy that gave us smartphones. Sorry, Jobs. But
Yeah.
it's the cameras are everywhere now. It's why we're catching Republicans saying crazy stuff at their fund meetings among the fundies, fundraising among the fundies. It's why we're getting videos of police doing things that, of course, they were doing these things before. If nothing else, the things like Freddie Who's It's on the Rough Ride wouldn't have been invented if there hadn't had been a problem of people being all observant and shit.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on to updates with health threats. So, CDC is recommending that individuals who are attending festivals or other summer events should consider how much close personal skin-to-skin contact is likely to occur at the events they plan to attend. And obviously, if you feel sick or have rashes or sores, right, don't attend a gathering and go visit a healthcare provider. Of course, since we have a failed healthcare system, that's not going to happen.
Just walk around and
So-
I was just
people.
laughing in my head about how few people were going to follow that advice.
Yep.
Lefties, don't go out. End of discussion. Problem solved.
Oh, just ridiculous.
Lefties, go out. You're fine. Don't
Oh, listen,
rub on
man.
each other at music festivals.
Yeah,
I know.
don't fucking touch people.
Whatever.
Dude.
I promise you, if it gets amongst the bubble chicks of the world that attend concerts and stuff, we're all gonna get it. We're all gonna die.
Yep.
Or not, but whatever it is. I don't care if it's a zombie virus or whatever, but I don't know who's the dude equivalent that's allowed to wander from group to group and be like, wow, 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 and lean on people.
No.
Old Uncle so-and-so.
Man, I think that guy's gonna do it, but
Yeah.
he shouldn't.
All right, so now we're down to climate weirding. So if you're looking for evidence of climate weirding, look no further than the early wildfire season, which is all across the Southwest. The record floods, which are all across Montana and so on. And the broiling heat. 165 million people in America are at temperatures that are dangerous if you are outdoors. Remember, when that wet bulb temperature gets above 95 degrees, you have moved into the realm where the vulnerable will begin to die. And that's the young, the old, and the sick. So, anyway, extreme heat is the number one annual weather-related killer. And then we have lots of new records. 108 for North Platte, Nebraska. 103 in Lincoln, Nebraska. 102 in Austin, Texas. 100 in St. Louis. Yeah, this is not good. So, again, if you're waiting for climate weirding to start and climate change to start having an effect on your life, you've arrived. And it's only going to get worse.
Bing! You have arrived at your destination.
So we're going to get another demonstration. Rising sea temperatures are directly affecting the yield off India's western coast.
Positive
And
or
so,
negative?
very negatively.
That's not good.
That's not good. So they're going to be a bunch of hungry folks in India. So, again, you're going to get these little microcosms like Iraq, which has had 10 major dust storms in the last 2 months.
Yep.
Right? That made people stay indoors, made them close their airport, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Almost all the
Right.
countries in the Arab Spring were having
Yeah.
food troubles.
So, anyway,
Everything that borders Israel is about.
keep your eyes open. You might see enough examples that you can start talking to some people about how we might want to change some of this before it's really, really, really too late.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, it ain't going to be easy. We're going to have to work at it.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Yeehaw.
Well, and I don't think we're going to do a good job of stripping cities when we leave them.
Oh, no. Absolutely not. No, we're going to have whole cities that are left behind with no water and no food. And if you think those people are going to die quietly, you are a moron.
I'm marginally worried about what those people are going to do. I'm worried about what the people who don't leave after them are
I
going to
just wanted to pass around that picture.
do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a serial killer.
Leader of Patriot Front.
Yeah.
That explains why he looks like a serial killer.
He's what you'd expect out of the modern digital shock troops. They do a lot of outreach work with smaller organizations.
Oh,
so
is
they
that
can
why his
set
beard
the-
isn't full in? He just looks like a fucking 12-year-old
This is
that
everyone
grew out a
being
beard.
bad at shaving the lines in that beard. I don't know. But
No, look
Yep.
look at how dark his hair is and look at how light his beard is. This
Mhm.
dude has no ability to grow facial hair and tried to desperately. I
Yep.
feel a little bit
That's
bad
what
for
I
him,
look
but not
like
bad
when I
enough
try to
that
grow a
he
beard.
shouldn't be in jail forever.
All right. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
not that I can think of.
All right. So it's a short show tonight because we had some fatalities in our extended family.
Ugh.
Kind of sad.
I
We can
would.
tell a buddy story
All
or
right,
two.
let me just say briefly that the reason why I've been quiet this evening is because I have had a couple of drinks hanging out with a friend of ours who sadly lost their horse today, and it's never easy. And Buddy was his name, and Buddy was a wonderful horse that literally lived forever. You need to, sir, tell them the story about the magic grass that saved him the first time. The first time. Now, there's been several times since then. But the first time he almost died, tell the story about the magic
Years
grass.
ago, not long after we came to the ranch, so your 11 years may be right, we had the vet out for something, and I don't think it was Buddy, but I think he looked at Buddy, and Buddy was having trouble walking. He was clearly unsteady in his hind end. He was, clearly, literally on his last legs, right? And the vet looked him over and then came over and very quietly said, he said, "I will be thunderstruck if that horse is alive in the morning." And so we figured, what the hell? It's his last meal, right? So we brought him in to the physical yard, which had grass.
Right, and
actual green lawn grass.
Right, and Turnabout was explaining to me how you took all the chairs and everything out that he could possibly get in trouble with, because horses, as Mr. Boomer Rex will explain to you, horses have a habit of...
You put a horse in a stall, right, with an anvil and a cotton ball, and the horse will break the anvil and kill itself with the cotton ball.
Exactly.
Guaranteed.
Yep. So you have to be super careful what the horse is in with. So anyway, they cleared out the yard, put the horse in it, continue.
And so he wanders around and eats quite a lot of the grass. In fact, we were talking about, he would be a decent lawnmower, except that here's a lawnmower that just wants to get in trouble. So anyway.
He was a sweet boy, but yeah.
He ate lots and lots of that grass. And the next morning he was 1,000% better. It was it was just magic grass. Yeah. It was overnight. Yep. It was unbelievable.
Yep. And for those of you who aren't big on horses, he had a problem with choking. Now, choking in horses is different than choking in humans and other whatevers.
Yeah.
So what happens is they get a ball of food, so hay or grains.
Yeah, which as they get older, because they don't have good teeth,
right,
it becomes more and more likely.
Right.
Right.
So this ball gets stuck in their esophagus somewhere, and you need to do something with it. It either needs to continue down or it needs to come back out. Now, horses have no ability to throw up. Yeah. For those of you who are unfamiliar with horses, I did not know this, but they can't throw up. So it's called choke, right? Choke. In horses, and so this horse has had choke at least 4 times in his life and survived, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But he was a legend in his own time, especially with the story of the grass.
Yeah.
And his owner, of course, is missing him dearly.
Dearly,
and
yes.
We
Well, he
will
was
miss her.
retired for years and years.
Oh yeah,
And-
9 years he hasn't been ridden. Yep.
Yep. And so, even beyond that, again, this is a really old horse. He knows exactly where he
Up
lives.
until I want to say about 6 months ago, he was able to wander the property.
Yeah, well, he still, yesterday, he was out wandering the property out of his
I didn't
stall.
realize they
Yeah.
still let him out.
Yep.
So, he had a habit of going into the
Muck heap.
muck heap and laying himself at awkward angles so people would have to go help him stand up.
Yeah, I think his final adventure with that convinced him that that was a dumb thing
Probably
to do.
not-
He didn't
probably
do
not
it
the-
anymore.
He loved, his favorite was to get himself so that he was laying in the muck heap with his legs up, which is
Yeah.
bad for horses, for anybody who knows horses.
Yeah.
Having their legs slightly up is bad because now he can't roll himself over to get back up. So you have to flip
Yeah.
him onto his other side and convince him that he needs to get up, which
Yep.
is not an easy thing to do with some of these older horses.
Well, and you notice that when you do that, he's getting up from the other side.
Yeah.
And horses have favorite sides to get up
Oh,
from.
yeah, just
So,
like people.
yeah.
Some people, you as a person, if you have a side that you tend to sleep on and get up
Yeah.
from and down from, or if you're sit down, you get up on your right or left side naturally. Imagine being in a position where you cannot get up on the side that you prefer.
Right.
to
And
get
being
up on.
1,200 pounds and
Yeah.
almost upside down.
So multiplied by about 4 of what you are, your weight, and now try to move that weight in an upward position. It's just
That is, by the way, 6 of me. So anyway,
Oh, I'm jealous.
I'm proud of that.
You are wonderful. No, I that is a wonderful thing to share.
Yeah.
Good job.
So anyway, but yesterday, I went down and I happened to see him, and he would be let out of his stall to wander around. And of course, Buddy's not stupid,
No.
right? He went looking for the hay cart, and he was standing over by the hay cart nibbling the hay, which he was allowed to do. So he had a pretty good. He had a he was retired for 9 years. He had a fabulous life,
One
and he
of
was
the-
way over 30.
At least 1 or 2 of the times that he got choked was because he tried to get into another horse's grain. Because he
Succeeded.
was allowed to wander the property. So he would see who was getting grain and when they were getting it, and at
They
least
were in there.
at least a couple of times he managed to get snake his head in there like a fucking snake, like he was.
Yeah.
And he would
And
get their
choke their
grain and he would choke on it because
He was trying to eat it too
he was
fast.
just bad at swallowing things.
Well, and again, he was trying to eat fast and swallow huge quantities because he knew he wasn't supposed to.
Fair. No, that's good. So he tried to swallow it faster.
Yeah.
Like a dog. You know that dog that you have that, like, when you're like, hey, you, and they're like,
Let me
"Ah,"
eat it quick.
and they eat faster? That was this horse. He knew he wasn't supposed to do it, and he would just fucking choke.
Oh
that
yeah,
shit
there's no
down.
way Buddy was stupid.
No, that horse was smart as shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's why I have been quiet and why I'm a little off the rocker more so than usual. So, we love you all, and don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review. Excuse me. Go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces on Facebook for fun memes and a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerRex, or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter at BoomerRexTonight. And if you Google BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, all links will lead you to us. We love you desperately. We will see you tomorrow night for more BoomerRexTonight.
Come on, Caribbean Storms, you can do it.
Yep.